Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show where, Cheryl, you just can't get enough of this place, can you?
Just swap seats.
Does it feel weird being on one side or the other?
No, not really.
No? Okay.
No. Maybe I can drive on the other side of the road. I don't know.
Ooh.
I've never done that.
Have you ever tried that?
It's questionable if I can drive on the correct side of the road, so yeah.
Same. So, yeah. Well, welcome. I'm back. If anybody missed me, thank you for being Jen while I was gone. Yeah, I turned 50, so yeah.
Yay!
But no, I was in. I think the first time this happened to me, I was in St. Kitts, and so you get in a cab, and they've got like several roundabouts. Well, when you drive on the wrong side of the road, you also go around the roundabout backwards.
I hadn't thought about that.
Neither had I. And I'm like, and there's all these tourists riding around on scooters and renting cars and stuff. And I'm like, this is just recipe for complete disaster. I'm in a cab and I'm freaking out and they're driving and they know where they're going. I can't imagine trying to like navigate roundabouts. I can't navigate roundabouts, on the right side of the road.
What are you going to do when Chile puts in their roundabout? Avoid it?
I will figure it out. It will be okay. I'm still kind of confused where they're doing that or how they're doing that in Chillicothe too, by the way. Or why.
Well, I don't know.
Is the roundabout, is it going to be in front of like Kohl's and the Norse thing, or is it going to be down?
I don't know.
I'm super confused.
Matt Brenning keeps posting about it, and yeah, I'm not totally sure.
There has to be a method to the madness, and I'm sure that there is, because there's a lot of people and engineers that work for ODOT and many, many other organizations.
They say statistically it is safer than not having one. Which is kind of hard to believe, but yeah, they say statistically. It's funny. Eric hates roundabouts. Absolutely hates them. And when we were in Spain, which is the last time we rented a car in a foreign country, because he said not doing that anymore.
Yeah, it is scary.
Yeah, and they drive on the correct side of the road, but the roads are very, very narrow.
Okay.
But I have a thing where I really, philosophically, I just can't drive on toll roads. I don't know. It just bothers me. And so I mapped it. We were driving from,
I get that.
We drove from Barcelona down to Valencia. And we took the back roads the whole way, which was fine. It was beautiful, beautiful countryside.
Oh, I bet.
You get to see all the small little towns. It's absolutely wonderful. And highly recommend, except that like every intersection is basically a roundabout. So you're driving and there's a roundabout, and then you're driving a little bit further and there's a roundabout. I mean, we went through so many roundabouts, and coming back, he's like,
it's like a cruel joke.
Coming back, he's like, seriously? I'm like, we can take the toll road if you really want to. And he's like, no, it's fine. And so, so we took the roundabouts.
The roundabouts back.
The whole way back. I learned how to drive in Long Beach, California, which has a giant, it's called a traffic circle, which is basically a giant roundabout. I mean, like a giant roundabout, like multiple lane roundabout.
That's terrifying.
And I did it on my moped. And so that stuff doesn't scare me.
Okay.
But in England, we didn't, which is the only place we've been to that they drive on the opposite side of the road. We didn't drive a car there. We walked and bussed and such. It's kind of weird.
Like the Griswolds, kids.
Yeah. It's kind of weird when you're in a place where like the roundabouts go the wrong direction. You don't think about like which way you have to look for traffic when you're like crossing the road. And so like in England, it's written on the ground, like look left. Because
they're trying to dumb American proof it.
So,
let's be honest.
Yeah, you always have to look to the left to see if somebody's going to come and strike you.
Toll road. Okay, so this is what I don't get. So when Jamie and I went to Florida over Memorial Day, we drove from Fort Lauderdale down to Key Largo.
Okay.
So you get on, you put in your Waze or whatever, because you have no idea where you're going.
Oh, yeah.
So we rented a car and we're driving. And all of a sudden you start seeing these signs about toll roads and stuff, but there's no toll plaza.
No. And that's part of my reason why I don't do toll roads, because if you don't have like the little box, you have to go online and pay it. And if you're in a rental car, you can't do that.
So I'm getting terrified because I'm like, and it doesn't tell you, like, then there's an express lane too, which I'm pretty sure you have to pay more
probably
to be in that lane. So I'm like, Jamie, I don't know what to tell you. And I have no idea what's a toll road and what's not a toll road, or if we're in the express lane or whatever. And I'm like, just flip and drive, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like, so when we got back in like a month, I got a thing from the rental car company, and they had charged me $10 and something for tolls.
So
which was fine.
We have a California box now, but the reason we have a toll road box is because I went through a toll road thing and then forgot to pay it. And by the time it came up onto my registration on the car, now my like $4 toll was now like $200
because of fines and penalties.
You don't pay it and stuff. And
which is why the texting scam is working for people.
Yes, 100%.
Don't fall for that.
No, especially if you haven't been on a toll road.
Right, exactly. Like, if you have been.
I still get them, like, the scams will be like, you were on a California toll road. I'm like, I wish I'd been on a California toll road, but I haven't been to the state for like 4 months. So no, I really don't think
I did.
But and they won't let you register your car. So
you
unless you pay
it.
the fine,
That makes sense.
It's like rolled into your registration. And so when I went to go register the car, they said, "Would you like to buy a box?" And the box is basically free. You pay $40, but you get $40 credit onto the box.
So then it just automatically takes it off.
Yes, automatically takes
it off. And then
it re-ups it once you run to zero. But, if the country went to a unified toll box, that would be great. But there aren't. Like, every state just about has its own box. I mean, there's some that are regional, but like the one in Florida does not work in Texas, and the one in Texas does not work in California, which doesn't work in the Northeast. So you would have to have multiple boxes, or at least know what you are doing, or remember to pay. Well, because there are no toll plazas where you can just throw money into the box like there used to be. Like it was $1 and you just paid the $1 and you kept driving. You can't do that anymore. You have to pay it electronically.
And so, and that's the thing. So you don't know, like, and I almost feel like the rental car company should have said, if you're going to get out on the highway and this is going to happen.
Well, usually they try to upsell you the box, because to rent the box, like in Florida, it's like $50 to rent the box. And people were like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm really going to go through $50 worth of tolls. Okay, but if you go through one and then you get the penalties and the fines and everything, it easily can be the $50.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that makes sense.
I take the back roads.
But no,
everywhere.
And I agree with you on the universal part of it. I mean, we are all one country, and I understand divided by a bunch of states. I get that, but for the love of Pete, like when you're driving from one state, you cross a border.
It's like
I don't know why.
One capitalistic company to sell it to all of the different states with one unified box, and then it knows where you're at. When you go through the toll plaza, it knows what state, and then it just sends the money to that state.
It is a little bit creepy because obviously there's cameras everywhere snapping pictures of every car or 100 cars that go through. Like, how does it? I mean, you think about how many cars. I know how much traffic was out there. It was like bumper to bumper. And I think about how many cars go through there on it. And I mean, it just has to be just constantly snapping. Yeah. How does it know? Weird. And then how do the rental companies, I mean, they have to have their system of knowing who had the car at that time, at that date, and a system for charging that person. I mean, that's a whole other
It's crazy
layer of stuff. So anyway, I don't know how we got off on that, other than driving on the wrong side of the road and...
There you go. That's where we got.
Yes. Yeah. But anywho, So some excitement since I left and there in MacArthur. That's horrific. About the hotel.
Yeah, that was. We were watching it live from here, and just
so sad
watching the smoke turn to black again, and turned white and then turned to black again. So that meant the fire was resurging. And I mean, it's just, it's devastating that the building is a loss. But I mean, it's thankful that, nobody was hurt, that it didn't fully damage everything surrounding it.
Well, that's what I was worried. So, yeah. I think there's a pizza shop next door, and then
I'm sure they had damage, but not as bad as it. I mean, obviously could have been. I mean, that whole block could have gone. Firefighters could have been hurt and such. So I mean,
you think how old the wood and stuff.
We were talking about that. It's like how old the paint or the lacquer, anything. I mean, they were partway through renovating, but still there had to have been 100-year-old.
Oh my gosh,
stuff.
And they don't make beams in wood like that anymore. No, but they were old and dry.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I mean, if there had been like linoleum or anything in there, I mean, that stuff can just be really toxic. So I mean, I think we're really thankful that people weren't hurt. I mean, it's bad enough that the building is a loss, but
it is amazing how many people were on hand though. And we talk about our small communities and supporting each other and stuff like that. It sounded to me like there were a lot of people, even from the people that were passing out water and things.
Oh yeah,
like just showed up.
Yeah, 100%. I was driving right after the show. I was driving Adrian home, and we saw the Jackson trucks going, and everybody just trying their hardest to keep it under control. But yeah, that was pretty sad. That was a sad one.
I guess Brett will be in here in a little bit, and we'll probably have a more thorough report, as he is our go-to Vinton County guy,
our Vinton County rep.
But I was thinking about how had they even started the renovations, and I didn't know where they were at in the process of that. So I'm sure that he'll.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I know he's working on a story for Saturday's paper also, and it's continuing. I mean, the state fire marshal's out there and trying to figure out what happened and everything. But major thanks to all the fire personnel and everybody else that kept it to just the building. I mean, you think how seriously many could have been much, much worse.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You think how many of those folks are volunteers?
Oh yeah,
and they just do it because they care. And that is incredible to me, to put yourself in harm's way like that, and to do it out of the kindness of your heart or out of a passion is amazing to me. But anyway, so great job, everybody. Wow.
So did you have a good trip?
We did. We just went up to Columbus and hung out for a couple days, and so yeah, it was fun. Celebrated the old birthdays. So now we're old officially. We're over the hump.
Just don't even go there. You get to a point where it's like, seriously.
No, you know what?
It's like it's just another day. Okay.
Age is so interesting because there's the milestones. When you're 18 or when you turn 21 or 25, you get at least a little break on your insurance or whatever. And then you get to like past that and you can't remember even what age you are. You know what I mean? Like it just becomes not important. I think that point is at
about 30.
Yeah, I think
it's at about 30 where people you just kind of stop counting. And then when you get, I'm assuming when you get really old, like 80, then it's really celebrating again each year.
I made it.
Like that excitement, like when you turn 7. Yeah. Like, I'm going to be 7. I'm so excited. But it's funny. Our granddaughter's coming up this weekend, and but her birthday is on Tuesday, and she's going to hit double digits. So she'll be 10. That's a big one. Yes. And she's still, she's still little, and birthdays are exciting, and everything. But our son, we're in birthday hell right now. So all of the kids start from the end of June until September. Mm-hmm. We have like 6 birthdays, all in a row. The kids and the grandkids, like boom, 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 boom. And so I was asking our granddaughter the other day, what do you want for your birthday?
Yeah.
What's on your list? What would you like to do? And we're pushing towards, she's at that age where we can push now towards experiences as opposed to buying more junk to be around their place. And she's got so much stuff. And so we're actually taking her to the Lego experience at Easton.
Easton?
Yes. So we're going to go check that out. But, because she's huge Lego girl. And, but so I'm talking to her about, what do you want to do?
She'll love
spend the weekend and everything. And my son, whose birthday is in oh gosh, I don't even know, 2 weeks. I should probably know that. But his birthday's in 2 weeks. And he's going to turn 29. See, I don't even know how old he is. I think he's going to turn 29. Fairly certain it's 29. I'd have to do the math on that one. And he pipes up, oh, well, I saw this Lego set and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like looking at him like, oh, okay, I'm getting your birthday list? Seriously? I'm like, really?
You're too old for that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's why I think maybe the line is maybe at 30, or maybe it's just my kids. I don't know. Well, because all of my kids in the last week have told me what they'd like for their birthdays.
Okay.
And Anthony's Lego set is by far, I think, the least expensive thing I've been hit up for. The other two would like to go on a cruise. So, Eric, you probably should start working on that because
get on that, Eric.
Because Tweedledee and Tweedledum really want to go on a cruise. So.
So, have you had any like milestone birthdays where you like kind of were depressed about it, or like 40 for me was awful.
No,
50,
not really.
I don't even care.
You know what? Not
30, I was like, whatever.
I'm not a huge birthday person. Like, once again, I don't even know when my kid's birthday. Like, I can't tell you how many days until my kids' birthdays. I'm not a huge birthday person.
40 was awful for me.
Eric's birthday is on Christmas Day, and so for him, it's always been a struggle for him, and because no restaurants are open. We traditionally eat at like McDonald's for his birthday because literally no place is open, and he's always had to share it with the family and everybody opening gifts, and so it's not like that super special experience.
Yeah.
So for him, it's not huge, and but our kids are like, especially our youngest. Excuse me. Very, very into birthdays. And when the kids were little, we used to throw these like birthday extravaganzas because all of their birthdays are within like a 4-week period. And I'm like, I'm not throwing 3 birthday parties. So we would just throw.
You get one.
Especially when they're little. I mean, when kids are little, yes, they have their friends, but more likely they're kids of your friends. And so it's all the same kids. I didn't want all those people in my yard like three times.
Three times. Doing the same thing.
Let's just have one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so we threw these huge, giant birthday extravaganzas. And then when the older two got to a point where they didn't really want party to that, they'd rather go do something like go shoot paintball or go to the movies with their friends or whatever it was, trampoline park. The youngest still insisted on throwing these huge birthday extravaganzas.
So you didn't get out of it?
No. And one year, his theme was Willy Wonka, and we had a chocolate river in our backyard. So we covered a slip and slide with Hershey syrup so that kids could slide down the chocolate river. Yeah, that was just the smallest little part of that. But yeah, like my friends still talk about Aaron's birthday extravaganzas. I mean, yeah. And but yeah, that's an Aaron thing. Aaron loves all holidays. It's not just his birthday. I mean, he's up for a celebration regardless. And my sister's very into her birthday too, and her birthday is this weekend, I think. I probably should know that too. Her birthday's in 2 days, which I'm sure she's going to give me a hard time for not knowing how many days until her birthday. But she starts posting a countdown to her birthday like 6 months out. Like, just so you know, it's 6 months to my birthday. And she also likes doing big things for her birthday. So she's had some pretty crazy birthday celebrations. But no, not really. Okay. I'm not really a birthday girl. So
well. All I know is I hated 40 and I don't care about 50. I don't know why. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. No, you get to a point where it's just like, it's just another trip around the sun.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because I think I felt worse at 40 than I do now, probably. Just, just different time in your life where you're, in a different. I think
it's a different mindset too.
Yeah.
You just, when you change your mindset a little bit, it's like.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I have to remind myself how old I am. Yeah. So I'm like, wait, how old am I? Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I have to remind myself how old my children are. So I don't know.
It's a whole thing.
I can tell you when their birthdays are, but yeah, years, not so much. So.
Well, because it
all blends together.
It does. Especially when you have multiple kids. I don't know how you keep track of all of them.
Well, and they're really close together. So let's see. Aaron's turning 26. I know that. And which means that Justin is turning 28 and Anthony is turning 29.
Okay.
And they're literally all like bam, 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 bam. We have
bam, bam.
Yeah. End of June, middle of July, end of July, first part of August, end of August, first part of September.
You know, it's funny growing up. I don't know what was going on in Jackson, Ohio, around the time, because so many of my high school friends from July 1st to like July 10th. I'm serious. There was something going on.
So I have to back that up.
So you have to back it up.
It would be around March. Is that the way it works? No, you have to go forward 3. You have to go forward 3. So July would be like October. So maybe a cold spell? I don't know.
I don't know. But something in October happened because, I mean, you take like my high school friends, and I mean, we had multiple birthdays every day between like the 1st and 10th or 12th of July.
Maybe it was a cold spell. You have to go back and look in like the Farmer's Almanac or something and see what the weather was like.
So it would have been October. Yeah, October of 1974. See if there's anything significant in October of 1974.
Was there a flood?
Was there, like weather-wise? Was there? I don't even know how you find that out, where you would find it out, but.
Well, that's what the Google is for.
Yeah. I'm sure
it's Googleable.
But it is, I mean, it's not coincidence. Let's put it that way.
So my sister's birthday is in July also, obviously in 2 days. And mine is in May. And so we, instead of celebrating each individual birthday, we have a dedicated day right in the center.
That makes sense.
And that's our day. So that's what we celebrated as our birthdays. But
good.
But yeah.
That's sweet. It's funny just like what traditions you have over time or you come up with that become your own. Find anything? No. Maybe they were really into Halloween. I don't know.
Spooky.
All that candy got to give everybody some energy or something. I don't know. Anywho. Ew.
Yeah, it's not what you want to be thinking about.
No. Yeah. Parents.
Parenting. Parenting.
Parents doing parenting things. What does it say? I can't see that far.
Oh. We're chit-chatting too much.
I guess we're chit-chatting too much. Okay, sorry, Adrian. We need to take a break.
And then we'll come back and talk about what we were
going to talk about. Yeah. Because we actually do have a purpose of being here today. So we'll be back in a minute.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more, in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Gallipolis Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern Rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man rock out.
All right. Well, we are back with our good friend, Miss Sheryl, here in the house, and we've chatted about everything except for what we're supposed to be chatting about today, which is something I think coming up at the library, right?
It is. Next Tuesday, we are going to be painting kindness rocks.
I love that.
So there's the flyer. So the library has a new area for the garden. They have a discovery garden that they just did the grand opening for. And so I reached out to them. I said, you know what, it'd be really cool if we had a rock garden where people could, come and add rocks, take a rock if you want one, add some color to the garden, and just kind of spread positivity.
I love that idea.
It's something that I did when we were back in California, and so I have pretty severe anxiety, and so I'm always looking for something that can take my mind off of that. And a lot of times painting is something that
because you can focus,
you can focus on something, and so I like painting. And then during COVID, I found out about these rocks, painted rocks, and people would paint them and leave them around the community with like positive messages or whatever.
It's so fun when you find something like that. It like makes your day.
And there was actually a group, and they did rock hunts. So during COVID, Eric and I would go on these like scavenger hunts for rocks. So people would randomly, like, you would have a rock hunt day. So let's say it's a Friday night. Aww. And people would post clues to where they had hidden the rocks around the community. And you would go and find the rocks, and you could either rehide it and post your clues, or keep the rock for yourself, or leave it somewhere else in the community or whatever. And it became this like massive like clue hunt type of thing.
Love that.
And it was a lot of fun. We had just an amazing time, met some great people, did some community paintings where we would get together like in front of Starbucks and paint rocks together. And we had a garden at our library. And once again, you could take a rock, leave a rock, whatever you needed to do. So we did that. And then I would also leave just rocks randomly around the neighborhoods. And actually, when we would travel, I would take rocks with me, which annoyed the heck out of Eric. But I would take rocks with me to leave places because it's always fun.
Awesome.
If I left it someplace else, I'd usually leave like my Instagram on the back. Or my email or something, so that people could tell me where the rock was found. Because, if you leave it in Arizona, it's kind of cool that it came from California. But then the person who would like message me wasn't necessarily from Arizona where I left it. It would like find its way to Michigan. And then the rock would end up in like Montana. And then it was suddenly in Florida. And so we were able to like track things to see how people moved things from one place to another. So
I mean, you think about though how simplistic that idea is. Like it's just basic communication of let me know where my rock is.
It goes back to so
easy.
We used to geocache.
Yeah.
Especially when the kids were little, and they had like whole websites, and you'd follow the clues and go find whatever it was, and you could leave something or take something and sign the log and stuff. And so this was kind of a way to do that.
Yeah.
And I love to paint. I don't need all of this stuff in my house. So the nice thing about rocks is that I can paint them and then go leave them someplace else.
Yes.
And they can hopefully bring joy to somebody else. Whether it's just seeing it and then leaving it there, like, oh, that's cool, and leaving it there, or taking it home because it reminds you of something, or giving it to somebody because it reminded you of them, or moving it on someplace else or whatever. So when we came to Jackson, of course, I had rocks and other things. It's not just rocks that I leave around the community. I leave random things all over the place. Usually if I see a little free library, I'll usually leave something in a library too, like a little crocheted thing, or a little piece of art or a rock or something.
Yeah.
Just so that when somebody goes to the library, they can grab that too. But I leave them in planters and just all sorts of stuff. And so I'm very excited about Tuesday because I've been struggling this last year to find people to do art with, to craft with and do art with. And so opening it up to the community, and you don't have to be an artist to paint rocks. I've done it with little kids. My kids have done it. My granddaughter's done it. You don't have to be an artist.
Right.
I mean, you can just paint and just write something, have a great day, or, thinking of you, or anything on it, or just make a random design.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
Something
be.
that
It
makes
doesn't have
you
to be
feel good.
spectacular. Literally, if you find something that's colorful in a place that you don't expect to find color, it's just naturally going to bring you joy.
That is true.
Yeah. And
if it makes you happy, it's probably 9 times out of 10 going to make someone else happy too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So, so I'm very excited about Tuesday night, and we're going to do that. It's 6:00 at the library, and it's free.
Do you have to bring anything with
Nope,
you?
nope.
Is it BYOR?
No, it's not. The library is providing everything.
Okay.
And you can paint them. You can take them home with you, and put them in your garden or leave them around the community, whatever you'd like. Or you can leave them for the library, and they'll add them to the garden as well. And I'm hoping this becomes a regular project.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That people leave things in the garden to kind of brighten it up a little bit and encourage people to go and explore that space.
And leave, I guess there's a fine line between trespassing and leaving something for somebody at their home or whatever. But I mean, I wouldn't be all upset if I went out and found something in my landscaping.
Yeah,
I might be a little creeped out, but
I once found.
I think we're thinking more of like maybe business locations or public locations,
or even like, let's say somebody's got a garden like at the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Or a planter at the sidewalk.
Yeah, right.
I've
or
done,
like
I've
a
done
little
that as well,
garden.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. But I remember during COVID, I was walking into the house, and I noticed that there was a painted rock, and it wasn't one of mine, and it was sitting in one of our planters.
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't know where it came from. I don't know who left it there. Didn't have any markings on it or anything. It was just somebody who had come to the house for whatever reason. During that time, it was kind of crazy. I would leave like produce and stuff like from our garden or from the lemon tree or whatever. I'd leave them out on the porch and just tell people, come and take whatever you want. And so somebody left us a painted rock, and it wasn't fancy. It just was a rock.
But you remember it, right?
I still have it. I
wild?
actually didn't bring it with me. It's still packed, but I still have it. And when I was going through pictures, I sent a bunch of pictures to Adrian for today's show, and it reminded me, oh my gosh, I remember that rock. So, I mean, even if you don't keep them, I tend to take pictures of them and then move them on to some other place. But they still bring me joy to find them in my photos.
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember that. I remember where we were or what we were doing or whatever. So, so you don't actually have to keep them. I mean, it's, you don't have to have like a ton of rocks laying around your house. I mean, you're more than welcome to, but.
Well, I feel like it's like, when you're a little kid and you trade stickers and you trade
marbles.
Or marbles or cards or whatever. It's kind of the same thing, except for it's something that you've created yourself.
And it's all ages. I mean, you can be 5 years old and do it, or you can be 50 years old and do it, or 56.
So you brought some rocks with you?
I did. I brought
you
some.
You want to
So I
show
brought
like
some
samples? That's beautiful.
So there's that
Now
one.
that one you took some time on.
Actually, this one wasn't. A friend hid this one, and I actually kept it because I thought it was really, really pretty.
It's beautiful.
That takes a lot of time and patience. I don't generally have that level of patience, and that's what this rock reminds me of. So it's a whole dotted mandala. This one reminds me about to be patient. That's what it reminds me of, and that's why I kept it. It's very heavy. It's what I call my doorstop one.
And it says something on the back.
It's about it's the person who made it. It says, "Hooray, you found me, post a pic." And then it has her Instagram and stuff, and it says, "Please help me travel by moving me to my next location."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but it's
somebody has a lot of patience.
It's still currently living at my house. So, which I guess it has moved. It's moved 2,500 miles.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
But yes, that one is the most amount of patience.
Yeah, this person's like rock art on crack. That's crazy.
And then, I don't know if you can see it, but that's a giraffe. And it just made me happy. It's not mine. I mean, it's mine. It's my rock, but it's not me. I didn't paint it. And
How
then on
do
the
you
back,
get them so, what do you seal these things with?
So you can seal them with just spray, like clear sealant.
Okay.
But the really shiny ones, and if they're going to be outside for a long time, I use an epoxy. And so the ones that are going to stay at the library, if people leave them at the library for the garden, I'm going to take them home and I'm going to epoxy them so that they'll last the longest.
And where do you get that?
Like Walmart.
Is it a
Like
two-part?
Yeah, like a two-part epoxy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the bar glaze, the stuff that you put on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But way easier because you can just put gloves on and do it with your hands. But yeah.
Gotcha.
And then on the back it says, just do the small things as perfectly as you can. So it has like an inspirational thing on it. So that made me happy.
Oh my gosh, this is so adorable.
Yeah. That's not mine, but yeah. I enjoy it.
Some of the things are the rock is cool. Just the rock itself is cool.
Yes, because you never know the shape of a rock. That's what's kind of cool about doing rocks is you kind of have to look at a rock and say, what is that saying to me? What can I do in that? Because, I mean, there aren't a lot of rocks that you can put a giraffe on. It really requires something that's like kind of tall and skinny, and it kind of just matches. This is a relatively simple one. It just says, you're a star.
Love that.
I love them because they're inspirational. That's all.
Yeah.
And then these are two that I painted. So this is my California rock. I love rainbows. So pretty much anything I paint generally has a rainbow on it because I just love color.
And these people get like, they've got like stickers that they've. These are like fancy, like labels.
I write on the back of them.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I don't write on the back of them. That one's just black. So, and then this one just says love. But, and Adrian's got some more pictures of stuff, but they don't have to be fancy. They literally can just say, that's one of my favorite ones.
Oh, I love those.
And so many of these, I've hidden them. I don't have them anymore. So what I have are just the pictures, and they still make me happy to have the pictures of them. So I just love rainbows. I will paint a rainbow on just about anything. So those are ones that we found during the rock hunt. So you just go around literally and just find them, and they're like in bushes or on a sign or, just randomly around. So that's me finding it. Eric's always the driver. That's one that I hid. And so once again, they don't have to be fancy. That's just random colors with a peace sign. And that one's one of my favorites. And that one made Adrian happy. And it didn't even have the rock here. And he's like, I have to put the M&M one in. So even just the photo of it just makes you smile, it makes you giggle. And that's what, that's what it's all about. It's just to make somebody happy. I mean,
yeah, like why not? No, I found
just a little bit of color in a otherwise gray day.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's rocks everywhere. There's gravel driveways. There's whatever. You can put them wherever, but yeah, I found several in our flower boxes at the brewery. I don't know if you were responsible for that or not.
I could have been, but hopefully it's
but yeah, and it's just neat, and you're just like, and then the next time, like I just leave them there, and then the next time, you look, someone's taking it, and that's fine.
Because it made them happy or whatever. It meant something to them.
Yeah.
I love it because rocks are, they're here for the long haul. Whether they're painted or not, you're here for the long haul. They're, they have some substance to them, but they do. You never know. I honestly believe this. You never know what somebody is going through, and nobody walks around on a sign that says, I'm grieving or I'm sad or I'm having a rough day. Sometimes you can tell by their face, but oftentimes not. People mask what's going on deep inside, whether it's physically or mentally or emotionally or socially or whatever. And so, if it makes somebody smile for even a second, I think that that's what we're supposed to do. I think that's what's important is that you make somebody's day just a little bit brighter.
Yeah, pay something forward.
Yeah. And the cool thing about rocks is I don't see who takes them. Like when I leave them there, I don't get to see that moment, but I can only hope that it made somebody's day brighter. And that's what I tell myself. I know it makes my day brighter when I find them. So I only assume that that's the case. So, but, and I brought my apron because I actually unearthed my apron. And,
she fancy. She got an apron.
Oh, well, it's because I get paint all over myself. And fun fact, I actually don't like paint. I don't like the feel of paint. It just really kind of grosses me out. Like when I get it on my hands and stuff.
Yeah.
So painting like on the rocks or whatever is really it's really a labor of love because I have to turn off my brain enough to not
get grossed out
about the paint.
This is how I am with ketchup, by the way.
And you know what? I love ketchup, but I totally get it because I don't like cleaning it off of plates.
Touching it.
Yeah, because when it gets that hard skin and stuff on it, I just can't do it. But paint, the wet paint, really bothers me. And I'm trying. I've spent years trying to work through it. And my mother always said it was because
needs paint therapy.
So seriously, I need art therapy. But I didn't go to kindergarten. I skipped kindergarten. I just started school in first grade. And my mother always said that was the reason why I couldn't touch these kinds of things because I never learned how to finger paint. Like I was like, in my 50s before I was like willing to do things like this because it's a lot. Paint is a lot. Like I really have to turn that part of my brain off, which is healthy to turn that part of my brain
it's good
off.
for you.
Yeah.
Get outside your box.
So this is my apron and
Paint
it says
rocks because throwing them at people is frowned upon. Sorry about that.
So
I love that.
Yeah, because I mean that's my philosophy. So if you if you're having a bad day on Tuesday or whenever, seriously, just paint on something. Paint on paper, draw something, doodle something. When you turn off that part of your brain that's focusing on intrusive thoughts, especially.
No, I think this is great. And this is all the supplies will be there.
All of the supplies. The library is providing everything. The brushes, the paint, the rocks, the space.
Why not?
Stop by. I mean, it's not a long endeavor. You don't have to commit hours and hours to doing it. You can stop by and paint a rock, like in 15 minutes probably. And then move on with the rest of your evening. And you don't have to commit to buying supplies and doing it yourself.
Right.
And you're adding a piece to our community. I mean, whether it stays at the library or it ends up somewhere else in Jackson County or beyond. Or beyond.
It could end up in Brazil.
It
Who
could.
knows?
It 100% can. My husband says I'm not allowed to take rocks in suitcases. But yeah.
Try explaining that to customs and.
Well, when we were in England, we were in London, and I found a rock that I just loved. The shape of it. It wasn't painted. It was just a rock, and it just. I don't know what it was about this rock, but I just absolutely love this rock.
It spoke to you.
It did, and he's like, "I cannot believe we're bringing back a rock. Are you serious? We are bringing back a rock." So, and I did, and I have a photo of me holding the rock and stuff. I get very excited when I find like hearts in the wild. So if I find a rock that's kind of heart shaped, they just make me happy. Heart shaped leaves, heart shaped rainbows and hearts. I am like a 6-year-old. I am not 56. I am like a 6-year-old in a very old woman's body. But mentality wise, still love unicorns. Still love things that sparkle.
Hey, listen,
I want a llama. I mean,
glitter is great.
Well, sort of.
Except for if you have to clean it up.
Yeah. Yes. When it's in your house and you can never get rid of it, and the only way to get rid of glitter is basically to burn the place down.
Yeah,
and probably the ashes would be glittery too.
They would be. There would be glitter left behind.
Yeah. But I love all of it. I love the sparkles. I love the rainbows, and I just never grew out of it. Never grew out a kid. Never grew out of being.
Hey, you're a kid at heart. That's good.
A hippie kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Kid of the 60s. What can I say? So just tree hugging hippie Sherry.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you what. So library Tuesday evening.
Library Tuesday.
Super fun.
It is. It's going to be fun. Stop by. And like I said, you don't have to stay for a long time, and you can add a piece to our community's new garden. Or if nothing else, stop by and check out the garden space.
Yeah. Because it's for all of you.
Yes.
It's for us.
Yes. It's a
great community.
Great place to just sit and kind of meditate and, read. I mean, you can go to the library and actually read. It's kind of a novel.
Isn't that wild?
Kind of a novel concept.
And they won't shush you.
Generally, unless you're loud like me. But yeah. But it's
what they said on the show the other day. They don't shush.
I know. It's a community space, and we're a community, and we should be supporting stuff like that. So.
Yep. Very good.
It'll be fun. Stop by Tuesday, 6:00, Jackson Library.
Yep. Be there.
Be there. Otherwise, we'll find you.
Yes.
Maybe.
We will hunt you down. Well, I'll tell you what, Red Thompson Jr. is in the house, and he's got on his sweater vest, which means he is ready to partay today. And do we have another message? Okay, Adrian says we have another message. Thank you, Sheryl, for hanging with me this morning.
You are very welcome.
Much appreciated. And we will be back in just a moment with our good friend, Red Thompson Jr.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your booklets and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
All right, and we are back with Red Thompson Jr. And since you are our go-to Vinton County correspondent, I bet you have some updates on the Hotel MacArthur situation. As I was away, I turn on the Columbus News, and I'm wondering why I'm looking at Vinton County again. And saw the unfortunate fire going on.
Yeah, it was very devastating. Tuesday morning about 9 o'clock, the hotel catches on fire. We have an extensive report coming in the Telegram. We interviewed Evan Knox. He's a lieutenant with the fire department. And the problem that they had when they went in the building, the walls were made of the old plaster and chicken wire.
And that's what I was trying to. So a couple of years ago, we actually took a tour of the hotel, but I couldn't in my mind remember what the walls and things were made out of.
Well, Mr. Knox said that, Lieutenant Knox said that when they got into the plaster, the chicken wire, it made it very difficult for them to tear down the walls. And as the fire went up, it went through the roof. And then it had a constant air supply.
Yeah.
So all they could do is to go fight it from the street.
It was literally fueling the fire.
It was, and it even got outside and burnt down a tree that was on the corner behind it.
Really?
And one of the things that Lieutenant said was they're very lucky it wasn't a windy day.
Okay.
That would have made things worse than it would. Not that this was, I mean, yeah, it could have been worse than it actually was, and it was bad enough. But it was a day when Southern Ohio came together, literally.
Sure.
Every fire department, or most of the fire departments in the area responded. Jackson brought their ladder truck up. I mean, they pumped, I think, thousands of gallons of water into that place, and that's they had a lot in their mind. There's several businesses there. I
mean, you're talking about downtown buildings that are attached and every other thing that aren't new, by the way. I mean, you get into older wood and all that, and yeah, it can really go up quick.
And now the big question is, there's a couple big questions. One, what happens to the renovation process?
How far along are they in that? Have they started the renovations?
That seems to be. The last time I went to a meeting, they had called in an architect, and it seems like this process has been continuous, but kind of maybe there's some gaps in it. Mm-hmm. It hasn't gone full circle yet, but apparently, that they were working on plans. They have the $2.8 million grant. But now whether, from what I understand, talking to different people, it's not going to be savable. It's the opinions that we're getting. But now that hasn't been official. That's not my opinion. That's what I'm hearing. But I'm not an engineer. I'm
Sure.
an architect. So
there's people that's their job, and they can come in and look at things and safety and structurally.
But if it isn't, I've seen some a trend in downtown that may work in MacArthur. I researched the tourism trends a lot. Small towns are going to a concept kind of interesting. They're building and the banks and finance companies like this concept. They're putting entertainment. They're building like 3- and 4-story buildings, like the hotel, and they're putting restaurants, a little entertainment area, maybe some craft stores at the bottom, and government offices at the top floors.
Okay.
And they like the government offices, the banks do, because it's a long-term lease.
Sure.
So they got guaranteed income.
Yeah.
So the banks will fund those. And from what I understand, MacArthur has a terrible right now shortage of office space.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot. I hear there's 4 or 5 different organizations looking for office space. The schools are looking for some, 4-H, the health department. There's a lot of. There was even a company from Ireton looking at some property north of MacArthur to build an office complex. So, I mean, there may be some opportunities here for something like that. But I think that it'll be the big, opinion now will come from the health department. What's safe, what isn't. Can that building's, I don't think they will let it stand. And not,
Well, it gets to become an issue of, yes, is it dangerous to, and if it is, then it will probably be torn down pretty quickly.
I would, from what we can see, we're going to talk to the health department, to the CVB about their plans, but I think that, whatever comes out of it, it looks like the only thing that I got from the fire department, they say it's a long shot to renovate it. Now, they said it'd be very difficult. There's a lot of water damage in there now.
Yeah.
So, and they had to break down. They couldn't get in, and they had to break down the windows or doors to get in.
Gotcha.
So that started. And he said they was almost doomed from the beginning. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. And thank you. But yeah, they said they was almost doomed from the start when they was fighting that fire. And so,
does anybody have any indication of what could have caused that?
The only thing I heard, and I don't even know if this is official, someone said that there was a power surge in the middle of the night. Now, I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not.
Interesting. Okay.
And I know a lot of that wiring, I don't know if it was wiring. I don't know if it was just a fluke. I have no idea. But I know that there's been some renovations done, $200,000 of renovations have been done. I don't know if that had anything to do with the issues or not. But I think it's it's sad. It's a big historical loss. It's a tourism loss.
Yeah, they were even in the, when I was watching the news up in the big city, they were talking about the fact that it may be the oldest or one of the oldest still standing hotels in the state. And that's saying something.
Yeah. It's the oldest building in the county. We know that
wild.
For sure, and it probably is. I mean, and now I know even if you could rebuild it, you kind of lose some historical value because I understand they lost some rooms. And they've lost the rooms. I mean, if you lost a room, Garth Brooks stayed in. If you lost,
I know, like Garth Brooks stayed there. That's wild.
That's the historical part of it. So I would say, we're going to find out officially because we're not the ones that make those decisions. But
they're thinking this afternoon they may have some more information to release.
Well, and the CVB has updated their website, and I'm sure they're going to start calling in experts, insurance companies, and and I'm sure the mayor and the council will be involved, and health department. So we'll have to see where we go. And I'm sure right now they're checking the structural to see where we're at there. But I was. So we're going to be following that. We got a big story in the Telegram coming up. Pictures. Jeremiah Shaver was up there with video. So we've had extensive coverage. It's one of those days where the whole department poured together to cover this. It probably made national news, but I know it made regional news, as you mentioned. It's a big story. But we know we have some other stories going on in Vinton County. And I'm positive, since we have such a big negative, let's go to the positive side of tourism.
Let's do it.
Okay. You remember the old shows like Little House on the Prairie. Do you remember Olson's Mercantile?
Yes.
Store? Well, there's been in Appalachian communities and small town communities across the country, there's been a trend of retrofitting these old stores, repurposing. And in Vinton County, they have something called Stella's Market. And look at that. Isn't that
how cute? Where is that?
It's in Swan Township.
Okay.
By Ash Cave. It's still Vinton County. And that's Ellen Lass. And let's see, Mr. Oh goodness, I'll have to check his name. But that Ellen Lass, it's one of the co-owners. She's the one on the left. I'll have to get the gentleman's name beside it. But it's an old store concept. They have entertainment. They have groceries. They have
fun.
They got a little stage. They got the food truck. All kinds of grilled cheeses, all kinds of pork sandwiches. It's really a neat concept. There's some around the country that I'm going to mention in a story, the Floyd Country Store. I've talked about that before. There's one in Tennessee called Sutton's Old Time Country Store. They do a national bluegrass radio program from there. And there's ones in around Asheville, North Carolina, East Tennessee, Arkansas. So it's kind of a new trend. And we got that's going to be heading my column to talk about all they have. So, there's a lot going on with tourism on the good and bad side. Yeah. But it looks like Swan Township is definitely developing into, we have the new Moonville Market. Now we have this. So things we're moving along. But Jen, I guess the big thing coming up on the regular track, it is fair time.
It is. Can you believe it?
Yeah. And a favorite's going to come up Wednesday night at the Jackson County Fair. Cletus T. Judd.
Yeah, the Queens, when they were in, they were super excited about that.
Cletus is, he made a name for himself in Nashville. He did several parody songs.
I actually have a schedule. I was going to look and see what time that is.
Is it Wednesday at 7? Is
Wednesday at 8
Wednesday
at the grandstand.
8.
Yep.
You come out and see Cletus T. Judd. You'll be entertained. It's well worth it. Fine evening, country music. And
Wednesday is Kids Day, so kids get in free from 12 to 4.
Okay. So, come out and see Cletus, and you'll laugh. You'll be entertained. And it'll be a fine show. We've got some great music at the fair. So, that's coming up. There'll be a lot of stuff. The Queens, we got Queens crownings. We'll have animal shows, livestock sale.
And don't forget, betting on the ponies tomorrow.
Betting on the ponies. I'm not much of a gambler, but I know a lot of people enjoy that. So that'll be a fun night of horse racing. I'm sure some of the food booths will be open. So get out to the Jackson County Fair and support the kids. The Vinton County Fair is coming up, and they're going to have the Queen City Circus.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I've seen them before. They do a nice job. They got some fire acts, some nets. They do some gymnastics. So it's worth seeing, and they'll have they're gonna have a concert by the Benton County Band. They're gonna have the choir sing this year. A lot of local entertainment. So so don't forget the fairs. And one other thing I wanted to mention. I know it's right at the cutoff time, but Benton County Schools has a new transportation director.
Okay.
And it took them a while to fill that position, but I think they found a very good candidate. His name's Austin Maynard. He graduated in 2006. He was from Wilkesville, graduated in 2006, and he has worked at the Dayton Regional Transit Authority as a mechanic for the last 13 years. He's got a CDL. He can drive buses, and he's wanting to come home. So,
well, cool.
Welcome back home, Mr. Maynard, and
welcome. Jeremiah's texting me, so I'm looking to see what it is. Let's see here.
We might have an update on something here.
Let's see. Couple travel things. Beaver Pike near Reservoir Road is closed today because something to do with the railroad tracks there.
Okay.
They're having to replace a sensor or something there at the tracks. And then State Route 93 between Clay Banner and Sternberger has reopened to traffic. That's that one where they closed 93 and you had a detour, the big detour around.
Long detour.
So it was open on Tuesday evening. So it is back open again, is what he's saying.
And, that's good with school coming up. And
oh, my gosh.
And I also wanted to mention one more thing. This time of year, we start preparing for fall sports. Can you believe that?
No. How is that a thing?
Yeah. Well, within 2 and 3 weeks, we'll have the golf, the tennis, the cross country all get started, and then the volleyball and the football is getting ready. So around here, the Total Media Sports team will have coverage of the Vikings and all the other teams. Friday nights are big days around here now. All the radio stations we have. And don't forget our football show from 5 to midnight. Very popular regional show now. And sports is coming up, so we got to get those cameras ready, Jen.
That's right. Be right around the corner. So, well, Red, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. And, of course, the update on the Hotel MacArthur. But make sure that you just keep checking at the Telegram or the Total Media pages. And I know that you all will update as soon as any information comes available. So.
We will, and there's a lot to this, and we'll see what the public officials have to say, the engineers. And right now, the most important people are the engineers, the insurance companies, and see where we're at. And then we'll see if it is torn down, if something creative comes out of it.
Yep.
There could be a whole new business in MacArthur, a whole new concept that maybe can do part of what the hotel was hoped that it could do. So you never know what's in people's mind and in people's wallets. There's a lot of creative people out there. So we'll see where we go.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Red, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning as well. And we will be back here tomorrow it's Friday already, isn't it? Can't believe it. So have a great day, everyone. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.